I want to get to a Chris Wallace piece where he destroys Jill Stein on a recount scam. Here it is.
You doing precisely that right now? Aren't you doing exactly what Hillary Clinton called horrifying?
I am not here to help Hillary Clinton or to express her point of view. In my view, the recount should have happened in the Democratic primary as well, where there were also very suspicious results, where voters appeared to be stripped from the rolls in Brooklyn, where hundreds of thousands of votes went uncounted in California. This is not about Democrats. It's not about helping Republicans.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you. That's not the question I asked you, Dr. Stein. I asked you why not accept the results of the election, because what you're doing is exactly what Hillary Clinton said was horrifying.
I don't care what Hillary Clinton thinks about this, and I care what the voters think about this, not what the politicians or the pundits or the party operatives think about this. This is about responding to the American voters who are standing up and saying we deserve an election system that we can trust and that is accurate, that is secure against hacking, against human error, against machine error, and that in which...
Okay, the full Jill Stein clip's up on Infowars.com. As usual, Mark Dice, Infowars.com analyst, Infowars.com contributor, had a great breakdown.
Jill, the recount con artist Stein, has canceled her recount effort in Pennsylvania, saying she didn't want to pay the $1 million bond that was required to initiate it. This despite raising $7 million, which she claimed was going to go to the recount efforts in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Trump's margin of victory in Pennsylvania was almost 50,000 votes, and all experts say that a recount would only sway a count by about 500. One of the reasons that zero experts are taking this recount seriously, and even the liberal waste of cyberspace website, The Washington Post, The Washington Compost, asked, why are people giving Jill Stein millions of dollars for an election recount? The recount is going on in Wisconsin, so let's have a look and see how that's coming along. The first day netted Hillary Clinton 1 extra vote. First returns from Wisconsin's recount net Hillary Clinton 1 vote. The totals from day 2 are in, so let's have a look and see how that's coming along. Well, Hillary Clinton has gained 3 votes. Donald Trump has gained 6, so that is a net gain of Donald Trump for 3 votes after day 2. So Jill Stein's pathetic attempt to try to steal these 3 states away from Donald Trump and hand them to Hillary Clinton has so far handed Donald Trump 3 extra votes. The recount in Wisconsin cost over $3 million, which the money came from these suckers that Jill Stein duped into handing her the money. And so far, that's over $1 million they paid for each vote to then go to Donald Trump. When speaking to Alan Colmes, Jill Stein let it slip that, quote, the 3 states that we chose, including Michigan, that only now just declared its winner, this was not a partisan choice. This was zooming in on the states that have the markings of being the most vulnerable to hacking because they had thin margins. They went the opposite way of what was expected, and they had some kind of voting system vulnerability. Apparently, Jill Stein didn't get the memo that the mainstream media and the polling agencies were wrong about pretty much.
All right, the full video is again at Infowars.com and MarkDice.com.
This is not being done to benefit one candidate at the expense of the other.
Really? Is that why all the recounts are taking place only in states that Trump won? Why not a single recount in a blue state that Hillary narrowly won? Jill, Trump won Pennsylvania by 78,000 votes, while Clinton won New Hampshire by less than 3,000 votes. She won Minnesota by less than 44,000 votes and Nevada by around 26,000 votes. Smaller margins than Trump won Pennsylvania in every case. Why no recount in any of those states? Why a recount in Michigan, which doesn't even use electronic voting machines? None of their systems are even connected to the internet. Both Stein and Hillary Clinton's campaign admit they have no proof whatsoever of any fraud. But Jill's only doing this because she really cares about democracy. In fact, Jill cares so much about democracy that she spent the last few days fawning over someone who spent his entire life sending democracy activists to gulags.
Fidel Castro was a symbol of the struggle for justice in the shadow of empire. Presente.
So you're calling for electoral integrity while praising a dictator who ruled for half a century without a proper election.
Americans deserve fair, transparent elections.
You're saying Americans deserve fair, transparent elections while genuflecting over someone who presided over a one-party state for 50 years. Give me a break. Hey Jill, Cuba's last election seemed a little bit fishy. How about a recount there? And while you're at it, why don't you audit California and find out how many illegal aliens voted for Hillary? That's not going to happen, is it, Jill? Because this has nothing to do with electoral integrity. It's about you remaining relevant, having failed to get barely 1% of the vote. It's about you fooling people into giving you a ton of money for something disguised as a recount, which when you read the fine print actually says the surplus money is going straight into the Green Party's back pocket. It's about you trying to regain lefty street cred by doing Hillary's dirty work for her. It's about the left trying to delegitimize Trump's presidency before it even begins by stripping him of his electoral college margin of victory, forcing Congress to directly select Trump. So all the butthurt Hillary won the popular vote morons can go out and riot again, full of contrived righteous indignation. Unless they engage in brazen fraud, Trump is still going to be president. But given that the recounts probably won't even be done in time, they're going to use this to disrupt the Electoral College vote before December 19th. Oh, and is Hillary?
To say you won't respect the results of the election, that is a direct threat to our democracy. Look, some people are sore losers and, we just got to keep going.
The same hag who lectured us about being sore losers refused to even concede to Trump on election night until Obama basically forced her to. She also reneged on a deal with Trump to concede within 15 minutes of the Associated Press announcing the winner. Now George Soros, globalist despot who specializes in overthrowing democratically elected governments, has been connected to the recount campaign. Well, imagine my shock. Listen, don't think that just because Trump won the presidency, they're actually going to let him become president without a fight. The political elite don't play by the rules. The rioting, hateful, butthurt, intolerant left are their attack dogs. They're perfectly willing to trash democracy when the result doesn't go their way. Look at Brexit. Nearly 6 months later, they're still doing everything to sabotage it. Between now and January, we have a massive battle on our hands. Listen up, Jill. We know you have complete contempt for democracy. We know you're bought and paid for by Team Hillary. We know you're a lying piece of shit. Why not just admit the real reasons for all this and stop pretending it's about electoral integrity, while you simultaneously praise dictators who once imprisoned and killed those who actually fought for electoral integrity? Take your George Soros money, go back to being a political failure, and stop being used as a pawn to overturn the democratic will of the American people.